Qin Luo traversed into a world of immortal cultivation, rife with demons and monsters, in pursuit of self-preservation. He sought refuge at Longhuguan to learn the ways of cultivation. However, he soon discovered that his master was a charlatan masquerading as a Taoist priest. In the first year, his master instructed Qin Luo to meditate, guiding him to delve into self-reflection and merge with the fundamental principles of the Tao. In the second year, he advised Qin Luo to practice frugality, leading him to sustain himself on ethereal mist and dew, rendering his physical form impervious to myriad afflictions. By the third year, his master encouraged Qin Luo to remain grounded, and as he traversed countless miles, he comprehended the art of spatial contraction. His master proclaimed, "The Tao is exceedingly simple. Enlightenment is a natural occurrence." Qin Luo replied, "I have understood." Chapter 1. Longhuguan. In the northern part of Zhongzhou, deep within the mountains, there lay a Taoist temple named Longhuguan atop the crimson-hued Laoxia Peak, adorned with vibrant autumn foliage. "Senior brother, why do you consume porridge every day?" In the temple's back courtyard, a young girl clad in a loose azure robe gazed despondently into her bowl of plain congee. A young man in white robes smiled gently, responding, "Little junior sister, master says that to achieve longevity, one must have a clear constitution. To attain immortality, one must be free of impurities. Consuming porridge benefits the path of cultivation that I long to eat meat." Ziwei, petite and with two lofty pigtails, had never experienced a full meal since arriving at Longhuguan. Qin Luo chuckled and shook his head, seated upon the Taoist platform, basking in the evening glow, enveloped in a faint golden light. 3 years prior, having just completed his college entrance examination, Qin Luo was struck by lightning while seeking shade beneath a tree, leading him to the Tianxian continent. After a year of trials and tribulations, he realized he had entered a perilous world of immortal cultivation, rife with dangers. 2 years ago, Qin Luo wandered nearby and heard that Longhuguan was accepting disciples. To survive in this treacherous realm, he sought to apprentice under the Taoists. Master Zhang Fulong, upon hearing of Qin Luo's desire to learn, beamed with delight, declaring him to possess the talent for transcendence, and promptly took him as a disciple. Time passed quickly, and Qin Luo had been cultivating at Longhuguan for 2 years. Originally, there were several senior brothers, but due to various circumstances, they had departed, leaving only Qin Luo and the newly arrived Ziwei to continue their training. A gentle breeze swept through, scattering peach blossoms across the courtyard. After finishing her porridge, Ziwei watched Qin Luo, who sat gracefully, with long hair cascading over his shoulders and skin glowing with a radiant sheen, embodying an ethereal presence. Her admiration was palpable as she whispered, "Senior brother, could you teach me the ways of cultivation?" Having spent some time at Longhuguan, Ziwei had been working diligently but remained oblivious to the path of cultivation. She sensed an aura of peculiarity surrounding her. Noticing her eager gaze, Qin Luo, with nothing else to occupy his time, nodded, "Very well. Thank you, senior brother." Ziwei's spirits lifted instantly. "Little junior sister, close your eyes, relax, and meditate." Ziwei complied, shutting her eyes. "What next, senior brother?" "Little junior sister, meditation is the essence of cultivation." Ziwei opened her eyes, tilting her head in confusion. Could it be that senior brother was jesting? Though Ziwei had little formal education, she frequently heard tales from the village elders about cultivators, who were rare and required spiritual roots, cultivation methods, and endured numerous tribulations. "Little junior sister, the path of cultivation is truly that simple." Ziwei blinked in astonishment. "Senior brother, does that mean cultivation does not depend on spiritual roots or specific methods?" Qin Luo nodded, smiling as he explained, "Master says the most crucial aspect of cultivation is one's enlightenment. The Tao is remarkably simple and naturally reveals itself. Spiritual roots and methods are merely embellishments. Ziwei seemed to grasp the concept, albeit vaguely. Qin Luo continued, "We differ from other cultivators. We practice through meditation, where our state of being manifests from the heart. The more vivid the imagery during meditation, the swifter the cultivation. How profound." Ziwei scratched her head. "Little junior sister, why not give a try?" "All right, I shall." Ziwei settled on the Taoist platform, attempting to meditate. The setting sun blazed like fire. Qin Luo, too, closed his eyes, and a splendid scroll unfolded within his consciousness. A vast starry sky and an expansive earth revealed various extraordinary phenomena, invigorating him as if he had been reborn, his entire being brimming with vitality. A year prior, the visions in his consciousness had been hazy, but now they were vividly clear. As time flowed, the final rays of sunlight dipped below Longhuguan. With the sun's descent and the moon's rise, a cool evening breeze stirred. An elderly man in Taoist robes ambled into the courtyard. Zhang Fulong, with his white hair and youthful visage, was of modest stature and somewhat stout as he coughed into his fist. Master, Qin Luo and Ziyue rose to pay their respects. Zhang Fulong nodded with a smile. The path of cultivation is a gradual process. One must balance work and rest. Staying up late to cultivate is detrimental to your health. You should retire early. Understood, Master. Qin Luo and Due exited the courtyard. Since his arrival at Longhuguan, Qin Luo had adopted an early-to-bed, early-to-rise routine, feeling increasingly revitalized, and he believed in the wisdom imparted by his master. Under the cover of night, while Qin Luo and Ziyue rested in their chambers, Zhang Fulong approached the main hall of the temple. High above hung a portrait of the Taoist ancestor, with offerings laid out on the altar. At last, I can indulge in a hearty meal. Zhang Fulong lifted the offerings to his mouth. Blissful. Having satisfied his hunger, Zhang Fulong approached the merit box. He rolled up his sleeves and emptied the copper coins and silver ingots, a smug smile gracing his lips. Money can be earned again, but lost integrity is far more costly. The following morning, as dawn broke, Ziyue squatted on the back courtyard steps with her bowl of porridge. Senior brother, why do you not partake in porridge? I'm not hungry, Qin Luo replied, chopping firewood in the courtyard. Last year, Zhang Fulong had advised him to practice frugality, and seeing his master sustain himself on ethereal dew, Qin Luo followed suit, drinking morning dew at dawn and bathing in the evening glow. Now, he abstained from grains, feeling an inexhaustible well of energy within him. Senior brother, you must be quite formidable. I still have much to learn. After neatly stacking the chopped wood, Qin Luo cheerfully inquired, Little junior sister, have you had any insights during meditation? Ziyue shook her head. Senior brother, all I can think of is steamed buns. Before coming up the mountain, I had buns to eat. I thought that life was difficult. Only upon arriving here did I realize that as long as one can endure hardship, there is a never-ending supply of it. That makes sense. Qin Luo chuckled at his junior sister's words. Little junior sister, I shall head down the mountain to fetch water. Senior brother, can't you summon the winds and rain? I cannot. What about Master? Master possesses profound Taoist skills, but such trivial matters should not trouble him. Indeed. Ziyue resumed her porridge. Qin Luo departed the temple with a wooden bucket in hand. After finishing her meal, Due entered the main hall, initially hesitating to sneak a chicken leg, only to discover there were not even any bones left. Have the offerings vanished? Ziyue glanced around nervously, her gaze landing on the imposing portrait of the Taoist ancestor, sending a shiver down her spine. Could it be that the ancestor had manifested? Ziyue hastily performed a respectful bow. Upon Qin Luo's return to the temple, he encountered a young lady in a green dress, unmistakably of noble lineage, accompanied by a robust servant. The young woman appeared distressed. Zhang Xianshi, a few days ago, my father suddenly fell into a coma, and the town's doctors are at a loss. I beseech you to find a solution. Zhang Fulong stroked his beard, responding nonchalantly. If medicine proves ineffective, it is likely the work of malevolent spirits. Zhao Qing knelt respectfully, imploring, I implore you to save my father, Xianshi. Zhang Fulong, hands clasped behind his back, assumed a solemn expression. In this vast world, how dare malevolent spirits wreak havoc beneath my very nose, showing such utter disregard for me? Qin Luo's interest piqued. It was the first time he had witnessed common folk visiting the temple for something beyond merely offering incense and prayers, and he was eager to see his master demonstrate his powers. Zhang Fulong retrieved a talisman from his sleeve. This is a dispelling talisman. It can drive away evil and avert misfortune. Thank you, Zhang Xianzai. Zhao Qing'er reached out to take the talisman. Zhang Fulong withdrew it, clearing his throat. Ahem, the dispelling talisman has required considerable effort on my part. It shall cost 100 taels. Knowing Zhao Qing'er was from a wealthy family and that the temple had recently seen a decline in donations, he boldly inflated the price. Zhao Qing'er did not hesitate. She produced 100 taels in silver notes. The servant standing beside her had no opportunity to intervene. Zhang Fulong tucked away the silver note and handed the talisman to Zhao Qing. Upon your return, ignite the talisman. Mix the ash with a bowl of water, and consuming the talisman water will rid your body of malevolent spirits. Zhao Qing'er expressed her gratitude, saying, "Thank you, immortal master, for bestowing this talisman." As she departed, Qin Luo felt a tinge of regret. Having hoped that his master would intervene, he approached Zhang Fulong and inquired, "Master, what if the talisman proves ineffective?" Zhang Fulong replied with a calm demeanor, "If it fails, it merely signifies that it is his fate. Are we to ignore it then?" Qin Luo asked, somewhat astonished. Zhang Fulong gently patted Qin Luo's shoulder, imparting with profound significance, "A household that accumulates virtue will surely reap blessings. A household that does not will inevitably face calamities. We must respect the destinies of others." I see. Qin Luo acknowledged. "Master, I've been on the mountain for 2 years, yet you have not imparted any spells to me. Is it due to my insufficient cultivation?" Qin Luo sought to understand the reason. Zhang Fulong chuckled lightly. "Disciple, even with myriad spells, one cannot achieve immortality without a solid foundation." "I understand now," Qin Luo replied. As he prepared to leave, Zhang Fulong called out to him, "Disciple, here is the Dao Fa Zhan Jia, which records 108 spells. Take it back and cultivate diligently." Qin Luo was taken aback. Cradling the Dao Fa Zhan Jia with both hands, his expression brimming with excitement. "Master, I will devote myself to my studies and will not disappoint you." Zhang Fulong nodded with a smile. Yue stood nearby with a broom, daydreaming of the day she might receive her master's teachings, just like her senior brother. Once Qin Luo had departed, a glint of cunning flickered in Zhang Fulong's eyes. The book had been purchased from a street vendor in his youth, and after years of practice, it had yielded no results. He still harbored resentment towards the old man who had deceived him into buying it. Had it not been for him, he would not be engaging in such trickery now. With the number of disciples dwindling at the Taoist temple, if Qin Luo were to abandon the place, the Longhu temple would not be far from closing its doors. To retain him, Zhang Fulong had no choice but to present the Dao Fa Zhan Jia. Chapter 2. A surprising encounter in the inner realm. The Longhu temple, nestled deep within the mountains, remained distant from the mundane world, with few common folk visiting to pray for blessings. After completing his chores, Qin Luo sat on the steps in front of the main hall, eagerly opening the Dao Fa Zhan Jia. Tongyu, Tsushin, Danshan, Jinzui, Jiefeng. Tongyu. Upon successful cultivation, it allows communication between yin and yang. Following the text guidance, Qin Luo focused his energy, forming hand seals. As he closed his eyes, a scroll depicting mountains and seas materialized in his consciousness, and he found himself on a snowy plain that this me. His consciousness took shape, mirroring his physical form. As the biting wind struck his face, he felt the chill. Gazing at his own body, the world before him appeared strikingly real. Could this place be hell, as the ability to communicate between yin and yang suggested? Surveying his surroundings, he suddenly froze. Not far away, a fairy clad in a flowing white gown sat cross-legged, surrounded by swirling snowflakes. Her skin as pure as jade, untouched by dust. "Who goes there?" A cold, clear voice resonated. The snow-clad fairy opened her eyes, her face frosty. Qin Luo forced himself to remain composed. "I am Qin Luo, from Longhu Temple. Is this place truly hell?" His master had advised him to remain calm in times of trouble. Even the king of hell would give Longhu Temple some consideration. Longhu Temple. Had she ever heard of it? Jiang Qingshue's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly. Qin Luo's sudden appearance in her secluded space was highly suspicious. She could not afford to be careless and replied coldly, "This is the inner realm." "Fairy, may I inquire what the inner realm is?" Qin Luo was filled with curiosity about this world. Jiang Qingxue scrutinized Qin Luo, perceiving his refined demeanor and clear gaze, which did not suggest deceit. The inner realm was not a place ordinary cultivators could enter. Even the most exceptional talents would have to pay a significant price. An unconnected, powerless cultivator could not arrive in the inner realm. Jiang Qingxue doubted that Qin Luo was entirely ignorant of this. Noticing his location, she added, "I can enlighten you about the inner realm, but you must assist me with a task." "What task?" Qin Luo remained unperturbed. Jiang Qingxue gestured towards a nearby direction. "I need that snow lotus. Could you fetch it for me?" Only then did Qin Luo notice a snow lotus, enveloped in a misty haze, nearby. As he approached and plucked the snow lotus, he encountered no obstacles along the way. How is this possible? Jiang Qingxue could not suppress her astonishment. There were prohibitions surrounding the snow lotus that even she could not breach. This young man was far from ordinary. Here, Qin Luo, handsome and composed, offered the lotus with a radiant smile, exuding a refreshing aura. Jiang Qingxue found herself momentarily entranced. She had encountered countless prodigies, yet none had compelled her to linger for a second glance. This snow lotus was an exceedingly rare Dao seed capable of fostering Dao fruits. Qin Luo had simply given it to her, leaving her to ponder whether he was foolish or merely underestimated the value of such a treasure. Jiang Qingxue leaned towards the latter. "Thank you, kind friend." Jiang Qingxue rose gracefully, her tall stature and ethereal presence resembling that of a fairy. "The world is a prison, the flesh a shackle. We are confined within it. The inner realm is the spiritual world of the ancient gods, a shore that can only be reached by the soul, the spiritual world." Qin Luo realized the truth. So this place was not hell. Jiang Qingxue perceived that Qin Luo was unaware of these matters. Given that you can access the inner realm, your cultivation level must be quite high. "Not at all. I am still merely in the Yangsheng realm." Qin Luo chuckled and shook his head. This was the realm his master had mentioned. What is the Yangsheng realm? Jiang Qingxue's curiosity grew. She had never heard of the Yangsheng realm. Could it be a level beyond the tribulation stage? Seeing the astonished expression on Jiang Qingxue's face, Qin Luo was not surprised. Zhang Fulong had previously told him that the cultivation methods of Longhu Temple differed from those of other cultivators. Observing Qin Luo's confident gaze, Jiang Qingxue believed he hailed from a hidden power. "Are there other cultivators here?" "There are, but encounters are rare. Only those with extraordinary talents can reach the inner realm." Indeed, Zhang Fulong had not deceived him. He often spoke of his own exceptional talent, which Qin Luo had initially doubted. "Senior brother," a melodious voice jolted Qin Luo back to reality. Jiang Qingxue watched as Qin Luo suddenly vanished, then glanced at the snow lotus in her hand, feeling a sense of surrealism. Qin Luo opened his eyes. Zhu dashed into the courtyard. "Little junior sister, what is it?" "There's a visitor." "Little junior sister, we are a legitimate Taoist temple." "Oh." Yue covered her mouth with her hands. Qin Luo stored away the Dao Fa Zhanjie, adjusting his robe. Shortly after, a burly man entered the temple. The man, named Wang Meng, was a local hunter, and his face appeared pale, his spirit visibly diminished. Qin Luo approached with a smile. "Benefactor, have you come to offer incense or seek divination?" Qin Luo was responsible for the incense offerings, while divination required Zhang Fulong's involvement. Wang Meng wore a troubled expression. "Immortal Master, I have recently encountered malevolent spirits and have been plagued by nightmares. I wish to offer incense to pray for blessings." Qin Luo guided Wang Meng to the main hall and pointed to the incense on the altar, explaining, "Benefactor, this large incense is 61, while the small one is 31. Which would you prefer?" "That's so expensive." Wang Meng instinctively took a step back. Qin Luo concentrated, his vision becoming clearer. He perceived dark energy coiling around Wang Meng. "Benefactor, I see you are shrouded in yin energy. Have you recently encountered anything unclean?" Wang Meng sighed deeply. "A few days ago, while hunting in the mountains, I accidentally killed a weasel. Since then, I have been haunted by nightmares every night, with the weasel grinning at me. How terrifying." Ugh, I shuddered at the thought. Qin Luo maintained a calm demeanor. "My master possesses a talisman for dispelling evil spirits, capable of warding off misfortune, for just 100 taels." "What? 100 taels?" Wang Meng's eyes nearly bulged out that he could not afford such a sum, let alone the cost of incense. Realizing this, Wang Meng suddenly knelt on the ground, his forehead crashing heavily against the stone slab. With a resounding thud, Zue froze in place, wincing at the sound. "Immortal Master, I make a living through hunting, barely supporting my family. I cannot afford such a sum. I have elderly dependents and young children who rely on me. Please, can you help me? Zhang Fulong often remarked that defying fate and altering one's destiny requires a significant price to be paid. He advised others to relinquish their altruistic tendencies and to respect the fates of others. Qin Luo was acutely aware of his master's principles. Without a corresponding reward, assistance would not be offered. Witnessing a robust man like Wang Meng in tears stirred a sense of discomfort within him. Having received a higher education, Qin Luo contemplated the notion that the impoverished should cultivate their own virtue, while the affluent should strive to benefit the world. If he possessed the means, he would undoubtedly rescue those in peril. Within the Tao Fa Zhanjia, there exists a method for crafting talismans imbued with the power to dispel malevolent forces. He assisted Wang Meng to his feet, stating, "Although my master will not intervene, I can draw a talisman to ward off evil. My skills are still rudimentary, and the talisman may not prove effective." "Thank you, immortal master. Thank you," Wang Meng exclaimed, tears of joy streaming down his face. That moment, Qin Luo was his sole lifeline. Regardless of the talisman's efficacy, he was willing to give it a try. "Junior sister, prepare the zhusha and brush," he instructed. "Understood." Ziwei hurried off to gather the zhusha and brush. Upon opening the Dao Fa Zhanjia, Qin Luo discovered the method for crafting a dispelling talisman. Once the materials were assembled, he focused his energy, wielding the brush as if it were a sword. With the zhusha applied, he deftly completed the talisman in the blink of an eye. "Wow!" Ziwei exclaimed, though she could not comprehend the process. Nonetheless, she was utterly astonished. Qin Luo presented the dispelling talisman to Wang Meng. The moment Wang Meng grasped it, the dark aura surrounding him dissipated entirely. "Thank you, immortal master. I have only this amount of money. Please accept it." Qin Luo graciously accepted, retrieving several copper coins from the pouch before returning it to Wang Meng, reminding him with a smile, "Keep the talisman on your person at all times. Of course. Wang Meng nodded repeatedly. Once Wang Meng departed from the Taoist temple, Ziwei tugged at Qin Luo's sleeve. "Senior brother, could you draw a talisman for me? What do you fear within the temple?" he inquired. "I am afraid of having nightmares." "Very well." Qin Luo took up the brush once again, and as Ziwei gazed at the freshly drawn dispelling talisman, her joy was palpable. She tucked it close to her heart, grinning broadly. 100 taels, more than enough to last me well. In her eyes, this represented a fortune sufficient for her to lead a comfortable life in the future. As noon approached, the number of townsfolk offering incense dwindled, leaving the temple quiet. Niwa took pleasure in the tranquility. During bustling times, she scarcely found a moment to sip her kanji. "How hot!" she exclaimed, holding a bowl of steaming kanji and blowing on it. Meanwhile, Qin Luo sat cross-legged upon the altar, once again entering the inner realm, reappearing at the spot where he had encountered Jiang Qingxue. Yet she was nowhere to be. Found out he still did not know her name. If fate allowed, they would surely meet again. Not dwelling on this, Qin Luo continued to cultivate his spellcraft within the inner realm, where golden light converged upon his eyes. When he finally exited the inner realm, a faint golden glow lingered in the depths of his gaze, rendering his perception of the world clearer than ever. Ziwei, still blowing on her kanji, watched as steam curled up from the bowl. It seemed that time within the inner realm flowed differently from that of the external world. If this were the case, practicing within it could yield exceptional results with minimal effort. Qin Luo marveled at the profound mysteries of the inner realm. In the Xiangong, a pillar of snow-white light shot into the sky. Disciples of the Xiangong turned their gazes toward the forbidden depths of the palace, where an elderly woman trembled with excitement, exclaiming, "Truly, the saintess has achieved harmony in such a brief time." In the forbidden depths of the Xiangong, where icy mist permeated the air, Jiang Qingxue sat cross-legged atop an ancient formation, her eyes shining like the stars. "Qin Luo," she whispered, "who exactly are you?"